Guns are prime examples of engineering wizardry, refined to deadly precision. Each is expertly crafted and fine-tuned to have a near-perfect performance. But today, we're not talking about the best guns. No. We're talking about the worst guns that ever came to existence. Hey everybody, welcome back to On Target. Joe here, and today we're going to go over the top 5 guns that only idiots will buy. Make sure you watch until number 1, because it's one of the worst guns that I've ever seen. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It'll help the channel out. Now, let's get down to brass tacks with our first entry. Number 5, L85A2. We're starting the list with a promising rifle that turned out to be quite a disappointment. The L85A1, the neighbouring countries of Britain looked in awe and envy at the unveiling of their brand new L85A1, a futuristic-looking rifle with a bullpup design that was meant to replace the British Army's standard L1A1. That envy quickly dissipated as the L85A2 was plagued with glaring design flaws. The inefficient ejection of used casings caused frequent stoppages, and broken firing pins only exacerbated this problem. Full auto was a no-go, as jamming was extremely prevalent. Most of its parts were of a substandard quality and prone to breakage, especially in unfavorable conditions and environments. Plastic internal parts were brittle and broke easily, and metal parts easily corroded. The weapon's overall mechanism was prone to malfunctions in dusty and Arctic settings, making it unreliable for field use. Additionally, the magazine was made from aluminum, which deformed from the slightest pressure. To make things worse, the magazine well was poorly designed, causing the magazine to accidentally detach itself. Ironically, the L85A2 was heavier than its predecessor, further adding to the soldier's burden in the field. It was exhaustingly unreliable and virtually useless no matter the circumstances. The once envied L85A2 rifle turned out to be a disappointing embarrassment. It was poorly made using substandard materials and was extremely unreliable in real combat scenarios. The British Army's hopes for a reliable and efficient weapon were dashed, leaving soldiers struggling with a malfunctioning weapon. The L85A2 has since gone through several revisions, but it was a shameful display of lackluster firepower for the British Army. Number 4, Heiser Pac-1 or the Pocket AK. Concealed carry handguns are a symbol of unwavering reliability, with the exception being the Heiser Pac-1. Dubbed as Pocket AK, the Heiser Pac-1 was a concealed carry weapon chambered in 7.62-49 and was only capable of firing a single shot. A single shot. Let that sink in. Sure, you could say that having a Pocket AK with a single round sounds cool, and maybe it is, but when it comes to real-life encounters, a single round could mean the difference between life and death. The Pac-1 weighs in at a hefty 23 ounces and measures at 7 inches in length and 3.7 inches in height. It's definitely heavier than most concealed carry, but it's still small and slender enough to slide in your pocket. But when it comes to reliability, let's just say you better make that shot count, because you only have one. Good luck even getting a shot out. The Heiser Pac-1 has one hell of a trigger weight. Don't even think about follow-up shots. Even if you did manage to land a hit, you'd still need to unload the spent case and put in a new one. Hopefully, your assailant won't mind while you reload for another shot, so please, take your time. Did I mention that the barrel is also prone to locking up, further delaying your reload time, while getting you closer to your eventual demise? Hey, if all else fails, just chuck it at your attacker. It's faster than reloading anyway. So, if you're looking for a reliable and effective concealed carry option, look elsewhere. The Heiser Pac-1 is anything but reliable. Frankly, I don't even know who's sane enough to actually want to use it as their concealed carry. Number 3, Mark I Gyrojet Pistol. Spy-related stuff was all the rage in the 60s, so it's unsurprising that they'd come up with a spy gun that complemented that time. What is surprising is that why they'd think that this one would actually work. The Mark I Gyrojet pistol is certainly unique, in terms of appearance and performance. This James Bond-esque handgun forgoes traditional ammunition in favor of 13mm solid fuel rocket projectiles. We're not kidding, it actually fires rocket-powered bullets. A cool concept in theory, but a miss in actual application. Literally. The gun itself was pretty impressive design-wise. Its barrel was vented from both sides, so any pressure from each shot was diverted outwards, resulting in negligible recoil. The projectiles themselves were lighter than your standard round, resulting in faster projectile. All of these sound great. So, what the hell happened? Well, folks realized that the cool factor quickly wore off after they realized that it was anything but accurate, let alone useful for self-defense. Unlike conventional bullets, these rocket-powered variants speed up upon launch and continue to accelerate. However, it suffers from a weak muzzle velocity which makes it susceptible to course redirection, making each shot wildly inaccurate. It also forgoes firearm conventions like separate magazines and ejection ports for used cases, so you'll need to manually load each round into an integral magazine. As you can imagine, the Gyrojet pistol is not a commercial success. It only stayed on the market for a few years before being shelved permanently. In hindsight, maybe Mr. Bond should just stick to his trusty Walter PPK. Rocket-powered pistols do sound great on paper, so just leave it on paper and don't let it see the light of day. Number 2. Winchester Model 1911 S11. This unassuming shotgun is notoriously known as the Widowmaker, and not for the reasons you'd think. The Winchester Model 1911 S11 is deadly, even to its own shooter. Just a quick history lesson. T.C. Johnson was a gunsmith at Winchester who was tasked with designing a semi-auto shotty based on the designs of the legendary John Browning. Seems easy enough, but there's a catch. Browning patented all his designs, so Johnson needed to create a shotgun on par with Browning's without infringing on its patent rights, which is easier said than done. It's hard enough to replicate a gun's mechanism, let alone replicate one without lifting straight out of the original designs. Certain parts were completely replaced with alternative, albeit inferior replacements, such as the fiber buffers replacing the friction rings, causing incredibly snappy recoil that can even split the stock. The most fatal flaw came in the cocking mechanism. A knurled section of the barrel was used in lieu of the charging handle, which proved operating the gun significantly difficult and needlessly fatal. The gun needed to be propped to a solid surface with its butt affixed to the ground and the barrel pointing upwards. All the while, the shooter pushes or pulls down on the barrel itself. I'm betting you can already imagine where this is going. When pushed hard enough, the barrel could accidentally cause a misfire, creating a rather nasty display of what remains of its user. Hence his morbid nickname, the Widowmaker. Granted, it could still be done in a safe manner, but the fact that someone actually looked at its design and said, "Yep, that's totally safe," is just baffling. Number 1. Nambu Type 94. Our top spot goes to a relic from the past, the Nambu Type 94. War times have brought about several innovations in firearms. The Nambu Type 94 is not one of them. The Nambu 94 is an 8mm Japanese pistol manufactured during World War II. Its appearance is lifted directly from the German Luger P08. Too bad it couldn't capture the Luger's reliable effectiveness. However, its unimpressive design isn't even the worst part. The Nambu Type 94 only had 6 bullets, and it used the weaker 8mm rounds with low muzzle power and laughable firepower. It was difficult to reload, requiring a strong push to insert and pull to withdraw the magazine. Its most egregious flaw is, well, everything. Its shoddy construction is an exercise in how not to construct a firearm. It was prone to accidental discharges, one shimmy and it will go off unannounced. Hell, putting it down on flat surfaces is a risky gamble. Sights were barely functional, making it seem like an afterthought of its designers. The Nambu Type 94 was a lightweight, but at the expense of the integrity of its parts. Disassembling the gun is already a chore, and that's not even factoring the ridiculously flimsy and fragile parts. If you're skilled or lucky enough to disassemble it without breaking something, good luck putting it back together. The Nambu Type 94 has always had a long and troubled development. It had glaring issues that were never properly addressed and was mass-produced without a thought or care. Additionally, it was needlessly expensive, even for high-ranking officers. You're basically buying an overpriced piece of garbage that won't even last long. Not exactly cost-effective now, is it? Despite all these glaring issues, it was still considered a standard in the Japanese army and was often carried by its officers and pilots for its lightweight frame. I can proudly and unequivocally say that the Nambu Type 94 is the worst gun on this list, and anyone who'd even dare to buy it is undoubtedly an idiot. And that concludes this video. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos of the best and boldest firearms in the market and much more. Check out this playlist of my top 10 videos of the best handguns of 2023, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.